You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tonya Mazurek.
Welcome to SBA Today for the week of April 28th. I am Paul.
And I'm Tonya, and a big thank you to Res Title for sponsoring the show. And there's not really a lot going on today, so, just kidding.
Nope.
But hey, if you don't like change, then you better get out of the daggum industry. Right, Paul?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going to dive like deep into it. We're going to put a spin on. I mean, you can go everywhere else for these rules. You come here for the entertainment and the camaraderie that we have with Tonya and I when it comes
Never
to this
heard that
stuff.
word.
So
What's camaraderie?
Camaraderie. Is it what?
Camaraderie, isn't it?
I don't wish.
I don't know. Now somebody can tell us what it is. I'm probably saying it wrong. That's awesome.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's part of it. I got to catch him on something because he's always
You do. So we're just going to kind of dive in with our thoughts and things on there. There's a ton of new rules. If you have no idea what we're talking about, I don't even know what to say.
They're not in the SBA. If they don't know what we're talking about, they are not in the SBA
that
world.
Is correct.
And or
but if you
aren't a business owner, aren't buying a business.
Brokers. No. We have a big audience. But the bottom line is, for those who haven't, SBA came out with a new SOP starting June 1st. And so there's a lot of stuff on here that if you're a credit risk mind, you love it. And if you're a business broker, borrower, etc., you possibly will hate it. But let's dive into this and let's play. So first and foremost, the franchise directory is back. Can I get a whoop whoop? I love that. I am very happy to have that. It is really important, and I think one of the interesting things that they're going to be doing is they're pretty much sending this agreement out to all the franchisors and saying, "Hey, if you want to be on this list, you got to agree to this, sign it, send it back." And if you don't, then you're not on the list and you're ineligible.
Well, and the nice thing about it, it's putting the accountability back on the franchisors versus on the bank.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
There is something that I see that could be, a moment of issue is any of those that are currently in the process, borrowers currently in the process, franchisees, let's say, right, that don't know what the franchisor has or hasn't done. So one, lenders need to start checking out their own deals that they're working on, right? And make sure those franchisors are on there. I just had a call yesterday, Paul, and the gal is wanting to purchase a business from a franchisor. There's only 2 locations, right? And she has no idea. First thing I did was go to see if it was on there. It is not, which could create its own set of problems. So anyway, that's just something for the in between that's going to create a problem. But I do like the rule.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yay on that. What's next?
Yay on that. No more substitutions of guarantee. Oh boy. Almost no one that I know of. I don't know about you, Paul, but almost no one that I know of actually used this anyway. It was a mess. It's messy, right?
Super.
It's messy and risky. Clean break now. You get to sign or no go basically at the closing table, and no more shuffling the guarantee at a later date or the guarantor at a later date. So I don't know. I like it. How about you?
That rule? Hey, let's do this. Let's give it a thumbs up or thumbs down if we like the rule after we're done with it. Okay. So substitution of guarantee, I say thumbs up. Okay.
Well, it removes that gray area, right? Where, I don't know, it could have been exploited, I guess, or the gray area could have been exploited in shadier type deals. So anyway, it removes that.
I would agree with that. Okay. The next one is very interesting. And I keep digging on it. And that is if you finance over 90% of the buyout price, the buyer must have 24 months of active role in the business. This is interesting because it's one of those things. If they're already a part of the business for the last, let's say 6 months and they're buying, okay, I'm ineligible. Okay, fire me. Right. And then I go and then I can get I don't know. I have my thoughts on this one. I'm doing a class later on today, and I'm going to dig a little bit deeper on this one because
Well,
this
I
one's
can
very
see
interesting.
why. Do you think, Paul, on this one, do you think we're going to see more sellers that are trying to coach buyers actually on how to get around the rule? Like how to satisfy this rule on paper?
Yeah.
Exactly. Hello. I don't
Right?
know.
Like it just
Ugh.
exactly. So this one I give it this thumb side.
Oh, a
Not thumbs
side
up, thumbs
thumb.
down. I don't know enough. So that's where I give that one.
I
Tonya.
think I would agree with you. All right. I
Yep.
think I'd agree with you because there's pros and cons to that one that could go either direction for both borrowers as well as lenders and SBA in general. So okay.
Agreed.
So let's go to the partial buyout. Partial buyout. All owners must be co-borrowers, even those under 20%. Now, this I could see as a huge deal killer. So alert you brokers out there. Alert to the brokers. Even 1% owners must now be full co-borrowers. Passive partners have to sign the note. Good luck with that actually in like a family business if you think about it. Now, possible problem I see is slower deals because more fights over who's responsible. And I think it's going to force some of the brokers to completely rethink how they structure ownership splits. You think that's going to create a problem? Any brokers out there want to comment on this? I would love to see your comments actually in the show notes. So go ahead, make some comments on how you see this going down for you and others. What about you?
Yeah. No, I think you hit it. You hit it perfectly. I think it's going to have to be a lot more strategic, and it's just brokers are not happy about this one. But I also get it from a risk standpoint. So again, you always have to look at both sides of a story, right? And I'm going to give this one the Paul thumb side because again, there's pros and cons depending on how you look at it.
I think I'm going to do a thumbs up.
It's bad.
I think I'm going to do a thumbs up only because I've seen in my role here, I've seen so many times how it gets played actually. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up. We'll see how it plays out. I could be completely wrong, but I want to go against you. Just saying.
Okay, good. I like that. Now, if you were on the call, the SBA rollout call, I deeply enjoyed the chat. The chat is where the money was at, okay? Because that's where you got real life examples and they were answering questions live as they were going through that. So just so you know, if you have access to that, go back to it because there's a ton of good little nuggets in there on there. So it's
kind of like the best answers typically come from the questions they don't really want to answer.
Correct. Absolutely.
There's the nuances that come from it. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, and then the next one is small loans are now 350 and not 500 unless it's express and then it's 500. Yeah. This one gets the official Paul Long thumbs down. I am not happy about this one. Yes, there is more risk in the smaller loans. We know that. Okay. But again, a big time was the score and go concept with no cash flow analysis. And that's what's causing the issue. Why can't you just require cash flow analysis as a part of that? Because cash flow repays loans. Or just tighten up the rules a little bit. But in my opinion, I'm not very happy with this one because unless it's an express and then I get 50% and then I can't go after my 80%, 85% loan on the small stuff. So that's my opinion. Not happy.
Yeah. As you know, this one doesn't affect me much, right? I don't do express loans. I don't do the small loans. I mean, pretty much everything I do is the same no matter what it is, right?
So you don't really
yes, I do. Because it's still I see how it will affect borrowers, right? I do. Because these are the smaller borrowers, right? And so that's going to create an increased cost for them, in that 350 to 500 range that they're changing. But I don't know. I'm a thumb sideways because I can see their reason for doing it, and I can see pros and cons from it. I mean, I think we need to be, any loan matters. Cash flow of any loan matters. And so I agree with you. We could have kind of changed it that way, but they didn't. So we need to be looking
We
at
should
cash
get
flow,
t-shirts made. Cash flow matters.
period.
Hey, Ray, I want t-shirts. Cash flow matters.
Yes, Ray, right now. It's
Right.
happening. All right.
Oh,
Lordy. Oh, Lordy.
God.
Y'all. Now he knows.
You.
We knew this one's going to be me, right? Okay. No more GP. If you're a PLP, you cannot send your loans the GP route. So this is an interesting one. First off, now, Paul, first I was a little nervous. I didn't know what the heck we were going to do. I didn't know how it was going to affect us. I've had to like really, really dig in and think about it. All right. So couple of things. It's going to allow no more second guessing if the deal needs to go GP. So PLP lenders, it puts more onus on the PLP lender to really know their deal and either say yes because they like it personally, or no, but not say yes because they have a guarantee backing it where they can do these gray ones that they're not real positive about. So that is good. I was worried, like I said, about my shop. We are GP heavy. We've always been GP heavy because we previously was GP only. We currently are preferred lending partners, right? We are going to maintain that. What is that going to do with us? I don't know. You know what? After thinking about it, I think it's going to help us, Paul, because here's the deal. We know creative, we know GP, we know the gray area, we know all of that fun stuff. So if we're sticking with PLP, we're going to be more comfortable with the deals that others are going back and forth on, wondering if they should do it or not, because we've been there, we've done that, right? So I think it's actually going to help us. I was thinking it was going to hurt us. I think it may help us. The ones it will hurt are the ones that are challenged in-house, perhaps, the ones that use the guarantees to do deals they shouldn't. So I don't know. I think it's going to separate the confident lenders from the not confident lenders.
This is where the chat was interesting because there was multiple people. Well, how do I get rid of my PLP? I saw that on multiple occasions and I'm like, oh boy. I mean, and again, for smaller institutions that don't have, fully experienced SBA management or lenders, they probably should get rid of their PLP or work with an LSP to assist them in those things. So I think LSPs are probably like, so it's interesting. But again, from an SBA standpoint, I totally get why they do it. They've reduced people. Hey, you know what? Don't use your PLP and don't come to us begging for stuff. I like the email address. I'd like to see.
I do too.
I look forward to using that on a few deals just to kind of see how detailed they get. So on this one, I give it the thumbs up. Ooh.
Me too. Actually, can you believe it? Because you know that when I first saw it, I was like, I know. I was like, no, but I really, I mean, this is thing with anything, right? We have to really look deeper than the surface. I talk about this all the time on the personal side and on my own stuff. It's the same with some of these rules. Look a little deeper into why they're doing them versus just that initial snap decision of yay or nay. So I think this will be good.
Next one, SBA Form 601 for construction is gone. Super simple. If it's a less form, it's a thumbs up. Next one, this one's interesting. Let's say that there's an ineligible person and they divest their interest. Okay. If it was because you were a ineligible person due to citizenship, you, as long as you are divested, then you can apply and you can move forward. Where before there was the 6-month look back rule. And so I'm curious because now that rule is a little gray. That one very interesting.
So I think it's going to speed things up because it's going to get rid of that cooling off period, right? And like for partnerships, think about for partnerships, if there's that one bad apple that's slowing things up, they're holding a deal hostage or something like that. It allows them to have like a quick, clean fix. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's good. Gets rid of some bureaucratic delays.
But what happens if they add them back on afterwards? Right. Like, I mean, again, I'm not trying to like look for ways to rob a bank, because a banker knows how to rob a bank, because we've always but
well,
I don't know.
You know what?
Spirit of the program.
Everything about the SBA and about deal structure in general, right? There's always likely ways to get around and go into some area that you shouldn't be in. If we took that ability out totally, none of us would be able to do any deals, because
true.
It would be too strict and too tight, right? So it's going to happen. It happens across the board. So anyway, is what it is. All right, green cards are okay as long as they don't have a conditional. Okay. So basically, it's just saying simple rule of thumb: 10-year permanent equals fine on the green card. Conditional equals no go. I'd be asking people up front, guys, as lenders, be asking them up front if they have a green card, what type they have, in order to kind of not create a problem down the road that you just didn't know was coming. So
correct.
What's the next one?
I mean, that one's pretty simple. The next one, change of ownership, at least 10% of the total project cost. The credit administrator in me says, woohoo! The salesperson in me says, boo-hoo. On this one, this one, you can do a 5-5 structure like the old days, 5% cash and 5% on full standby for the life of the loan. That one is very interesting to me. I think the partial that we kind of got rid of, I think was used and abused, to be honest.
100%.
The quality of borrowers were not
questionable.
Good. And this one gets a Paul Long thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me too, because I think this is really their way of doing a checkmate, right? I think they've recognized how this could happen. Now, it doesn't mean that a seller's note, they can't have two seller notes. Remember, like we did in the old days, right? So we would have, the 5% seller note that was equity injection on the full standby. That was the only way you could get somebody to do it. You can't do high amounts. And then maybe they could have a secondary that had whatever terms they wanted, as long as it cash flows people. Anyway, we can go back to that. I think it's great. I like that one. So double thumbs up for me. All right. Partial changes of ownership, both the operating company and the persons, including any existing owner who is acquiring or gaining any direct and or indirect ownership interest in the operating company, must be co-borrowers on the new loan. All right. Even a 1% increase in ownership means you sign as a borrower. Sellers who stay in with less than 20% must personally guarantee for 2 years. This is going to get interesting. My guess is this may drive more full sales instead of partials. And it might force a lot of silent sellers into fully cashing out. So what's your thoughts on this one?
This one, I give it a thumbs up.
Same.
Because the other thing is they get all their money. They don't really care. Fine, they take a 15-20% haircut or 1% haircut. They got their money and run. I get it. From a broker standpoint, absolutely hate it. From a credit risk and lender perspective, I absolutely love it. So nice job on that one. Next one, transcripts on all loans, even express. Okay. Paul gives this, there's not just a thumbs down, but it's a bargain basement thumbs down.
I wasn't even going to wait for you on that one.
This one just made me angry when it came out. This is, the whole point of it, express is to get things done quickly. 8821s and 4506Cs take 16 days as of yesterday. So this is going to slow small loans down. I don't like it. And I'm pissed.
It's another layer of timing and paperwork that's just, like you said, it's going to slow everything down. And you're going to have more arguments of, why do you need my tax transcripts when it's like $100,000 loan?
Do you not?
Which
trust
I don't
me?
do a whole lot of those, but you do. So anyway,
we do.
Do you not trust me? No.
Keep going.
No, apparently we don't. Anyway, keep going. All right. 7A loans are 7A loans made to a startup business. Now, this one I like. Require a 10% equity injection based on the project cost. Now.
Common sense, baby.
Yeah, I do a lot of startups. So I know Paul was going to ask, and Paul has already asked me how many do I do. I do a lot. It's about time, because honestly, I ask for it all the time. It makes zero sense why you would not. Startups are high risk, and why would they not have skin in the game? Skin in the game creates them not walking away from when times get hard. Times will get hard. It's a startup, and it's entrepreneurial. So, hello.
I was just going to say, it's a beeping startup. Like, hello.
Weird.
All in, baby. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 10% cash out of pocket makes people think twice before they walk away. So anyway, keep going.
Yep. Flood checks are now required on all loans, even business, personal property. I never changed the rules because that doesn't make any sense. So I give this a big thumbs up on that one.
Thumbs up. Yep. Partial changes of ownership. So we're going to kind of go back to what we already talked about. Seller who is still staying on but there's some more. Staying on needs to guarantee the debt for 2 years. All right. Couple more things. It's going to freak the sellers out. It is. It's going to freak them out. But here's the thing that I wanted to kind of bring up that I was thinking about, and I kind of put in this section. What do you think? Do you think sellers are going to increase the cost, potentially go and increase the cost of their business, or attempt to increase the selling price of their business to cover the fact that they're going to have this, risk on the line? I could see something like that, them trying to get around it now. And then you got the business appraisal that's not going to appraise anyway. So I could see that all happening.
Yes.
Did Tonya get something right, Paul? Weird. Kidding.
No, that one for sure.
I see.
No, I agree. Yep, I agree.
Anyway, yeah.
Multi-step partial change of ownership are no longer eligible. On behalf of every lender on earth, thank you very much. Those were a huge pain in our rear end.
Yep.
Let's move on. Next one. This one made a lot of people mad, which was really good. And that is, you can't refinance MCA, merchant cash advance debt, or factoring, because it is the debt of last resort. You know what? I agree with that. I give that a thumbs up. For those who kind of did a lot of these, you're going to need to find something else.
Okay, so I agree, and because I refinanced a factoring a few years ago, right? Mm-hmm. The thing I see right now are those that are in process, right? Those that have taken on the factoring based on previous rules that did not realize they weren't going to be able to refinance out of it. I think that's going to hurt some of them if you think about it, right? Or those,
good point.
Yeah. Me. Anyway, or those that are currently in process that didn't realize what was fixing to go down are going to have, be in this last minute tug of what are they going to do now? So, that's the thing that I see is starting it like that, boom, can hurt those that are already in process or those that are already in it. And how are they going to get out of it at this point? So,
well,
I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of an interesting one. All right. Source of equity injection. Cash that's not borrowed, whether on the business's balance sheet or from other sources. Obviously,
fine,
is allowed. Real cash, no funny business. Cash that comes from the personal loan or HELOC, where repayment can be, shown outside of business. So basically what it is, you can have debt as long as it cash flows. You just can't have debt that is stemming from payback from the business, meaning you can't make a salary from that business and use that salary to then pay the debt that you get to get equity.
Yeah.
No borrowed funds unless you can prove repayment. Yep. Isn't coming from the business. Like I said, let's see. Grants. This is cool. Grants that do not have repayment or clawback provisions during the life of the 7A loan. Those are now acceptable. That's interesting. That's cool. And they clarified prepaid expenses. Now, prepaid expenses that the lender has verified. I can't even get through this one fully. That the lender has verified by obtaining paid invoices, canceled checks. Oh my God, this is just getting deep. Bank statements, etc. Okay. And it says lender must retain copies of the documentation on file. Now, this puts the onus on the PLP banks, right, for getting this stuff correct. It's challenging, y'all. It is challenging when you start going into repayments and paybacks and invoices and all that. It gets hairy. So you start putting the onus of that on the PLP bank. I think that what could happen actually could
brokers
be
calling
nothing. I know. I don't know how. I have this thing off too. Weird. I see that. I see some PLP banks having a problem with that because that just that puts a lot of it on them.
They clarified it, but it was a useful. It was on the previous SOP. Okay, but I think I get it, but you're going to have to really document, and you're going to have to really love your deal. So.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what I mean by the PLP versus them being able to go GP. I think that's one that PLP banks might have sent GP previously just to make sure that they felt like they had. Yeah, yep. I do. Yep. Anyway, that's it. Oh, my.
So that was nothing. Okay. Well, it was really a boring week.
It was a boring week. All right. Don't forget, we're live on Tuesday mornings right here on LinkedIn and YouTube and any platform where you get your podcast. Go back and look at any of our previous shows and or the Art of SBA Lending and the BDO show. We want to thank Res Title again for sponsoring the show and connect with Paul and I on LinkedIn. Man, we love to have conversation with you. We want to see your faces. Anyway, rise up with your big bad selves. If nobody's told you, we think you're awesome. We'll see you next week.